Hey guys, welcome to Shadow Skull Studios. It's Raven Wolf. We're here with another Friday deck list. This one is going to be one that you can easily take it however you want. This is a slight upgrade. No, it is a major upgrade to my second commander deck I ever made. My first one was Mogus, God of Slaughter. My second one, I got an Erebos, and he was my mono black commander for about 8 years, and he was like him, Atraxa, and Bray are like the three commander decks I always had. But Bray and Atraxa were gone. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into it. We have the commander, Erebos, God of the Dead. Indestructible, as long as your devotion is less than 5. He's not a creature. Your opponents can't gain life. Pay 1 and 1 black, pay 2 life, draw a card. Pretty cheap, simple. Let's go ahead and keep going with our Planeswalker, Vraska, Betrayal Sting, completed, which we don't care about. We're always going to hardcast it. 0, draw a card, you lose 1 life, proliferate. That one doesn't really matter. Mostly the -2 ability, target creature becomes a treasure. With sack this artifact, add 1. This is all other card types and abilities. And if target player has fewer than 9 poison counters, they get a number of poison counters equal to the difference. And yeah, mostly though, it's the card draw and the -2 we're going to go with. Then we have Avatar of Woe. If there are 10 or more creature cards total in all graveyards, it costs 6 less to cast. Fear, destroy target creature, it can't be regenerated. Next we have Blood Artist. Whenever it or another creature dies, target player loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. Cryptghast, Extort. Whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add an additional black. Dothi Voidwalker is whenever a card would go into a player's graveyard or an opponent's graveyard, exile it instead with a void counter, and then you can tap her, sack her. You can cast target card with a void counter on it from exile without paying its mana cost. We have a Disciple of Bolas. When it enters the battlefield, sack another creature. You gain X life, draw X cards, where X is that creature's power. Ghoul-Caller Gisa, which is black, tap, sack another creature, create X 2/2 black zombie creatures, where X is the sacrifice creature's power. Got Eternal Bontu. Enters the battlefield, sacrifice any number of other permanents, then draw that many cards. When God Eternal Bontu dies or is put into exile from the battlefield, you may put it onto its owner's library, third from the top. Next, we have Keen Duelist. This is at the beginning of your upkeep. You and target opponent each reveal the top card of your library. You each lose life equal to the bad value of the card revealed by the other player. You each put the card you revealed into your hand. Now we have Magus of the Coffers. Tap 2, add a black to your mana pool for each swamp you control. Next we have Massacre Girl. Enters the battlefield, each other creature gets -1/-1. When a creature dies this turn, each other creature, then Massacre Girl gets -1/-1 until end of turn. It's going to be a creature board wipe. Machias the Unhallowed is basically as Intimidate. When a human deals damage to you, destroy it. Other non-human creatures you control get +1/+1 and have Undying. Morbid Opportunist. Whenever 1 or more other creatures die, draw a card. That one's just for a death trigger. We have a Nirkana Revenant. Whenever you tap a swamp for mana, add an additional black, and you can pump it. Opposition Agent. This is to stop our opponents from searching, and we get what they're searching for. Phyrexian Obliterator. Whenever a source deals damage to it, that source's controller sacrifices that many permanents. Puppeteer Clique. Whenever it enters battlefield, put target creature card from opponent's graveyard on the battlefield under your control. It gains haste. At the beginning of your next end step, exile it. Then we have Putrid Goblin, which just has Persist. This is to go with this in Puppeteer Clique, go with an infinite combo with Machias the Unhallowed. We have Shieldred of the Apocalypse, which is when you draw a card, you gain 2 life. Whenever an opponent draws a card, they lose 2 life. This with our commander is to stop us from killing ourselves with draw and have a little bit of life gain. We have Shieldred the Whispering One. Beginning of your upkeep, get a creature from your graveyard. Put it on the battlefield. At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, that player sacrifices a creature. Or opponent, my bad. But this is just to get some graveyard recursion. We have Skittles, the Blight Dragon. Flying Infect, we can pay 1 black, give it haste. Tap 2 black, regenerate it. What this will do is, essentially, this is to, I want to make my opponent either use a counter spell or use a removal spell to get rid of Skittles. I want my opponents to be afraid of this Phyrexian Dragon. Solemn Simulacrum, easy just to get a land. When it dies, we draw a card trigger. Zulaport Cutthroat, when it or another creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life, you gain 1 life. More just aristocrat stuff. Going into our sorceries, we have Beacon of Unrest. Put target artifact or creature card from a graveyard under your control. Shuffle Beacon of Unrest back into the deck. Black Sun Zenith. Put X -1/-1 creature on -1/-1 counters on each creature. Then you shuffle it into the deck. Damnation for a board wipe. Demonic Tutor, search for an answer. Grim Tutor, search for an answer. Killing Wave for a kind of fun board wipe. Living Death, just to shuffle the board around. Living End, same thing, but with Suspend. Mutilate, all creatures get -1/-1 for each swap you control. Profane Tutor. We have Reanimate for a graveyard recursion. Torment of Hellfire as a win con, hopefully. And Victimize for more recursion. Then, for instance, we have Cabal Ritual and Dark Ritual for ramp. We have Darkness for a just mono black fog. We have Deadly Rollick as removal. Dismember for removal. Saw in Half for mini combos, but also kind of good removal spell depending. Slaughter Pact is also good removal. Sudden Spoiling is to stop our opponent's maybe creature-based infinite combos. And it doesn't target, so it kind of like it can remove some protection, stuff like that. But yeah, Sudden Spoiling, pretty good. Tragic Slip is removal. Vats is also good removal with Split Second. Vampiric Tutor and Wake the Dead for surprise recursion. Going into our artifacts, we have Aetherflux Reservoir, which is part of an infinite combo. Altered Dementia goes with an infinite combo with Machias and Puppeteer Clique and Putrid Goblin. So we can mill our opponents out, hopefully. Ashnod's Altar, same combo as Altered Dementia, except we make infinite colorless mana. Bolas' Citadel. This, Sensei's Divining Top and Aetherflux Reservoir go into an infinite combo to basically shoot our opponents with infinite life and infinite damage. Jet Medallion is to make all of our black spells cheaper. Mind Crank is to also mill our opponents so that we can kind of hopefully steal their creatures with our Reanimator spells. Nyx Lotus is ramp for our Devotion to Black. Phyrexian Altar is the same as Ashnod's Altar and Altar of Dementia. It's to go with Machias and Putrid Goblin or Puppeteer Clique to do the infinite mana. Sensei's Divining Top, again, to go with Bolas' Citadel and Aetherflux to go for the infinite kill. Soul Ring, just for a ramp rock. Throne of Eldraine is a mana rock and it's a card draw. For our enchantments, we have Contamination. This is to hopefully slow our opponents down to where they will only get black mana from their lands and only 1 black mana. And this also stops us from ramping with Cabal Coffers and Cabal Stronghold. Cutting Rhetoric. When an opponent attacks you or planeswalker you control, exile top card of the library. You may play that card for as long as it remains exiled. You may spend mana as though it were mana of any color to cast it. This is hopefully to deter our opponents from attacking us, and when they do attack us, we can get their cards. Dance of the Dead is graveyard recursion. Dictate of Erebos. Whenever a creature we control dies, each opponent has to sack a creature. Same as Grave Pact. This is to hopefully deter our opponents from removing our board. And if our opponent have things that are indestructible and we have multiple creatures die, we can make them get rid of their indestructible creatures, or hexproof. Necromancy is more graveyard recursion. Then we have Necropotent, a really good spell for card advantage. Going into our lands, I kept it pretty simple. We have Bojuka Bog to graveyard hate our opponents if they also want to do recursion. Cabal Coffers. Cabal Stronghold. Castle Locthrain is for card advantage. Crypt of Agadim is in case we have all our creatures in the graveyard and we just need mana. Mirror Landscape is to hopefully ramp out in swamps if we have a slower turn. Nykthos Shrine to Nyx is to get our Devotion of Black into our mana pool. Phyrexian Tower is just a sack outlet to get 2 black mana. And 23 Swamps by RK Post. Now, I don't have all of these certain arts, but this is a deck that I want to get these specific arts to make this deck. Especially that Killing Wave. I have the normal art from Avacyn Returned, but I want that promo. But, yeah, this is just a really expensive deck because of this. What I could probably do, just to show you how cheap this deck is to make, let's go ahead. Cheapen it out. Update to cheapest. Yes. And boom. Still a $950 deck. The deck's still going to be expensive. But it has a lot of the infinite combos. It has the tutors. It has, the Crypt Gas, which is, the Bantu. So yeah, this deck is always going to be... Contamination dropped in price. It used to be like $50. So yeah, Dance of the Dead went up in price. I remember when it was only 10. But yeah, that's just how this deck is going to be. It's going to be expensive. The lands are going to be expensive. The swamps, for some reason, did not go into the cheapest. There's cheaper swamps. I guess it doesn't affect lands? Let me try again. Update the cheapest. Wow. That's very interesting. But yeah, let's go ahead and do our test pilot of the deck. We'll play test with this hand. We'll draw our card per turn. We're immediately going to go into Urberg. Next turn, we'll do a swamp. And we'll cast Altered Dementia. Next turn, we'll cast Dothy. Turn 4, swamp, and we'll go ahead and do... Let's go ahead and do a Grim Tutor. View Library. Let's just go ahead and get... We're going to grab Cabal Coffers. And does Grim Tutor put it on top? Nope, puts our hand and we lose 3 life. 1, 2, 3. Yep, and we play land that turn. So this turn, we'll do Cabal Coffers. Go ahead and tap to make 4 mana. With that 4 mana, what do we want to do? We'll do Erebos. Next turn, we'll play a swamp. Tap, making 5 mana. With 5 mana, we could easily go 6, 7, Shieldred. With that, I think our commander is online, so we could swing with Erebos if we wanted to. Next turn, we can get something back from our opponents, but we're going to go ahead and play a Cryptic Vagadine, which will come and play tapped. Swamp, swamp. Go all coffers. We're getting 6 mana. With that 6, we could do Puppeteer Clique, get something from our opponent. We could then do Altar of Dementia to sack their thing. Or we can go to combat first. So we'll say we'll go to combat. Swing, cause I think it gives them haste. Gains haste. Boom. Second main phase, if it didn't die, or before it dies, we'll sack it, Altar Dementia. Basically putting everything under Dothy. If we really wanted to. And second main, we'll do a Dark Ritual. Make our opponent think we have our Tragic Slip in our hands. Opportunist. Next turn, we could easily board wipe if we wanted to. We could also just do Cryptic Vagadine and that. Oh, there. Altar of Phyrexia. And what we could have done too for our before our turn, we sack Puppeteer Clique to Altar Dementia. Make our opponent mill 3. On our turn, we get Puppeteer Clique back. Or no, it would come back with Persist. Sack it again. Mill our opponent for 2. On our turn, we get it back. We get our opponent's creature back. And then we basically have sack outlets. So like Shielder does work with Puppeteer Clique and an Altar. Does amazing things. Let's go ahead and restart it. That's a bad hand. At least with this one we have lands. So let's go ahead and draw. We're going to do Urberg. Next turn. We'll do Cabal Coffers. We'll do Dark Ritual in Urberg, and we'll cast our commander. So yeah, we have our commander on turn 2. Next turn, what I want to do, honestly, we're going to Demonic Tutor, view library, and we're going to gain a Phyrexian Tower, and we're going to play our Phyrexian Tower. And we have removal because we control our commander. So on turn 3, we have an out. We have an out. Turn 4, holy crap, boom. Tap in 3 lands. We have 4 black mana. If our opponent has like a bunch of like 1/1s and stuff, we can blow it up with that. Though we're gonna do a turn 5. We're gonna do a Skittles. It'll probably get countered or killed, but who cares at that point? And if they did kill Skittles, cool. We have Dance of the Dead. We have a bunch of stuff we can do. I'd say at this point though, we'd use Vats. 4 mana, we'll cast Vats, blow up our opponent's board, maybe a flyer, swing in with Skittles. And if we wanted to as well, we could sack Skittles in response to them trying to exile them or kill them. And we could easily draw a card if we wanted to. Next turn, we're going to do some shenanigans here. We're going to Grim Tutor, view library. What's a good land? We'll get a Nykthos. And we'll play Nykthos. And we have, like, again, more stuff we can use. So, like, we have a bunch of answers to stuff. If we wanted to, we'd also, like, make our opponent creatures not have flying. Next turn, we don't really have a lot to do here. So we'd probably just use Deadly Rollick as removal. Hit an opponent. Yeah, we'll say we hit an opponent. What we'll do is we'll do Phyrexian Tower, sack Skittles, tap Cabal Coffers for 5 mana. We'll do God Eternal, not sacking anything. And we'll do 2 mana. To tap, we get not worth it. That's what it is. That is not worth it. So we'll go ahead and tap 2. use our commander, pay 2 life, draw a card. It's a Blood Artist. That's pretty neat. Turn 8. Oh, we have a Victimize. Victimize is good. So I'd say what we'd want to do here, probably go to combat just to see what happens. Then what we could do is, we'll say we're in like main phase 1. So we'll tap, sack Bontu, which puts it 3rd from the top. Three from the top. I think that's how that works. Weird. Here, let's do this. Close. And we'll move this one to the bottom. Because it has to be the 3rd from the top, so I should have picked 2. But yeah. So Bontu goes to the grave, which isn't a big deal. We have 2 mana. Tap that. We get 1, 2, 5 mana. We'll do Master Girl. See how many things die. And then we could easily just go 1, 2, cast Blood Artist, which we could have done at the beginning, but it wouldn't have mattered. Next turn, we have a Swamp. And again, we just have a bunch of answers. We can get Skittles back. Skittles goes Burr. Let's go ahead and try this out one more time. That's a good hand. That's a really good hand. So we're just going to go ahead and do a Swamp. Turn 2. Boom. I'm going to go ahead and use... Do I want to do that? No. Let's do a Putrid Goblin. Next turn. That Machias is 6 mana, so I would need 1 more land. That's fine. We'll just go around the table before it gets back to us. We'll do an Opposition Agent. Next turn. Our turn gets a little weird. But what we could do, Dark Ritual with the rest of our mana, Ghoul Color Gisa. Next turn, what we're going to do is a Demonic Tutor. And with that Demonic Tutor, we are going to go grab Urberg. Play a land for turn. Tap a black. We're going to sack Putrid Goblin. Make 2 2/2 zombies. Putrid Goblin comes back with a -1/-1 counter. Next turn, we'll Bojuka Bog, exiling an opponent's graveyard. We'll tap the 1. Tap, sack Putrid Goblin, make 1 2/2 zombie. So we make a bunch of zombies. The next turn we do Machias, we can sack Putrid Goblin. It'll keep coming back like normal at that point in time. But we can also use Reanimate, stuff like that. So we have a bunch of answers. Next turn, cool. Boom. Actually, in fact, we're just going to cast our commander. Cast commander. Boom, boom. Pay 2 life. Draw a card. Well, now we have Skittles. On that turn, oh my gosh, we have answers to multiple things, but not to things that we really need. So what we'll do, pay 2 mana, we'll do Dance of the Dead with Putrid Goblin. We'll pay the 1, sack it, goes to the grave, comes back, we're making 2 zombies. And this is a slow play of this deck, that still we have many synergies, many combos going off. Well, not combos, but we have a bunch of synergies that we can do. And we'll just do this, tap, Pay 2 life. Draw a card. Now we have removal. We have a free removal spell. So yeah. Let's go ahead and redo it one more time. This is also not a bad hand. Go ahead. We'll start out with a swamp. Next turn, we'll do Castle Lock Terrain. Immediately, we're going to do Dark Ritual. Cast Commander. Next turn, Swamp. I want to do a Necropotence, actually. Necropotence is a good card. And we have 5, so we'll pay 2 life. We exile these, and our end step, we get them to our hand. Next turn, we'll do a Swamp. What I want to do here isn't really... It's going to be a little weird. Because what we could do is this Zulaport Cutthroat. And we'll hold the mana, so if they don't kill anything, we'll say on our opponent's next turn, we'll pay the 2 life, tap the 2, draw a card. Next turn. Oof. We're not really getting another land, which is very weird. I've never had this many issues like trying to get lands. So what we'll do, Sensei's Divining Top. And then what we'll do here, because our hand is getting kind of full, we'll do Altar to Phyrexia. Also, we could have been swinging with our commander because we're at 5 devotion. What I'm going to do, I'm going to tap, draw a card. Sensei's goes back on top. Let's see, I have 7 cards, so I ain't going to do crap. Next turn, it's a Sensei's. So what we're going to do is that. Sensei's Divining Top. Pay. Lose 2 life. Drawing a card. Not good, so what I'm going to want to do, tap, sack Zulaport. No, we'll swing with our, we'll swing, no. We'll leave him as a blocker. Sack Zulaport to Phyrexian Tower. Do Putrid Goblin. Next turn. Now we have a swamp. Now we have 5 mana. Now we can start kicking stuff, but we're still on turn 5 and we're a little slow. But we can still do some things. So, what we're going to do, tap out. And we're playing a land this turn, sadly. We'll sack Putrid Goblin. It comes back with a -1/-1 counter. Bolas' Citadel. Bolas' Citadel, that's a Dismember. Put that back on top. Actually, no. We'll say we pay the 3 life for Dismember. Kill an opponent's thing. What's the next card? Machias. Alright, cool. Pay the 6 life for Machias. Now with Machias on the field, we go infinite here. And with that infinite mana, we'll do Dance of the Dead, getting Zulaport back, and now we just drain each opponent. So there you go. Turn 7, infinite combo win. It is a little, it was excessive, but we got there. But the only way we get there is because our commander is card advantage. Necropotence is card advantage. Bolas' Citadel and Sensei's let us dig. So yeah, and because we just have removal and answers and enough recursion and mana ramp that we can get there in a mono black deck. This is not going to be CDH, but in casual, like I would say this deck is a high level 8 because you, like I said, you can go infinite, and if you get the right ramp spells, you can go infinite very early. Because what if you turned 1? Say you had Cabal Ritual, like I said, you have these 2 in your hands. Say you had Dark Ritual and Cabal, and the rest were lands. So what? That's 5, 6, 7. So essentially, what it'd be a perfect hand to win with this deck is hopefully you drew into a Zulaport Cutthroat with this and like a Dark Ritual and a Cabal. So say you play a land, after you draw a Zooport or whatever, play another land. Yeah, it's Darkroot into Cabal Ritual, which is only 5. So you'd have to hope to draw lands, but you could probably do this early. It just depends. It really depends on your lands and your ramp, but I think you could easily turn 3 win with this deck with a perfect hand, but it also just doesn't matter. With this deck, you're not trying to win on turn 3. You're just trying to play mono black good spells and just have fun bringing stuff back from the dead. Like the little necromancers we all are when you want to play mono black. A lot of people say you play Crick. I don't play Crick at all. He's not in the deck list. Everybody says he's good. No, I want Erebos. Erebos is card advantage, and he looks a lot cooler than Crick. I don't really play to be proficient. I just play fun stuff. I give myself handicaps all the time. I play Avatar of Woe, which is, that could also go infinite if you put in a, what's the freaking staff? Staff says when a creature dies, untap a creature. Untap the equipped creature. So yeah, and especially, like, I like Avatar of Woe, and, like I said, cool color gets, there's a bunch of stuff. This deck is not optimized to be a top tier CDH deck, which is a high power mono black deck. But I hope you enjoy this, guys. I hope to see y'all again next time. Please like and subscribe for more stuff in the future. Bye bye.